But we need to begin to see our assignment, either in public or private, as a ministry. Right? What I do today, I see strongly as a ministry, and I take it as such. And for someone who has pastored for 16 years before I retired myself, right? So you should know that what will make you leave pastoring to then focus on business core? You must know what you really what God asks you to do. Does that make sense? So let's quickly rush on change principle behind great leadership. I wanted to play a video of Lee Kuan Yew. I don't know whether my team was able to get that. Was she able to send? Is it in the slide? Lee Kuan Yew one. Okay, beautiful. Next. So success changes, principles don't, right? In every generation, leaders risk because they master the fundamental or foundational rules that drive, one, influence, people management, growth, sustainable business structure. One of the things I realized that has affected some of us' ability to really create a change is one of these four. Sometimes you really can influence, right? But you just lack people management, right? Sometimes you are the nicest guy in the room, but there's no growth. And I hope you know niceness does not get the job done. I hope we know that, right? And for this day of social media, everybody wants who is nice, right? Who is nice. Nobody gets something done being nice. No, not at all. Not at all. I would rather be respected than be liked or loved or whatever you guys call it, right? So we have to also balance that, because sometimes we then turn leadership to democracy. And I hope you know that democracy is not always the best form of government. God is not a Democrat. Now, I'm not saying we don't need democracy, but I'm just trying to explain that in real leadership, sometimes you need, okay, everybody has talked about, the two speakers I met spoke about Singapore. I hope you know Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew. I hope you know is a benevolent dictator. I hope you know people went to jail for life. Right? In fact, in the early days, some died. Okay? So, when we talk about this leadership conversation, it's always from that point of growth. For growth to happen, change must happen. And there's a lot of discomfort that will what? Happen. Does that make sense at all? Okay? I remember landing, I got in, I think my flight landed 6:45, went to one of our sites, and with our branch manager, you know, the videographer, if I refused to do any video because he literally saw me yelling, right? Because here was a fence being done for an estate that is just 10 meters away from the third road. And then he's telling me the surveyor said the layout, right, is no more than that, the master plan of Abuja. I said, don't you know that many of those who do this master plan don't think 100 years from now? And we are not trying to be one of them. So the least I expect you to leave before you start this fence is 50 meters. Because based on Nigeria population growth, this road will still need to be expanded. And then you now need to be breaking fence and people's houses, because you also will have sold, because once you do your fence, you now start selling the thing immediately now. And you can imagine how somebody will buy that land or house and is blaming Stephen Akintayo, not knowing that there's a branch manager who made a decision. And that speaks into what everybody has been saying. The president is the devil. I join you in those conversations sometimes. Okay? But there are people that have been assigned. One man can't make it work. And everybody has to drive growth at their level. Are we together now? Okay? Let's just go on because I want to keep to time. So rule number one, just go to rule number one. Lead yourself first. This is the one I find so, I realize that it's really difficult for us to really implement. Right? Everybody wants others to do it right, but they are not ready to do it right themselves. The level of discipline required to be a great leader, oh boy, is the reason why we don't have many leaders. Because true leadership starts with you. It starts with you. It starts with you. You have to be the best version. And for a lot of our speakers and trainers, including my friend, Mr. Daniel, some of your theories, I'm not sure it works. Right? Because you say, leaders, you lead by example, everybody will follow you. In 17 years of running business, I've led by example, they don't follow me. I get to work early, right, than anybody else. I close later than anybody else. And even my executive assistant is sneaking out before I leave the office. And then send me a message to say, something happened. There is insecurity on the road. So I needed to leave early. Right? So, again, you see why leadership, true leadership, is self-leadership. It's leading you. And it's you that you have control over. You don't have control over somebody else. And sometimes you are hoping that if you lead yourself well, maybe, and there's no guarantee, my dear consultant, and there's no guarantee that others will follow. But maybe they will. Am I making sense at all? But for you not to lead by example and then say, no, everybody needs to follow. And that's really what's messing Nigeria up. Because people then carry title, but they are not leaders. Right? People then say, all of you, I need you to, cut your budget. You must cut your budget. Nigeria need to tighten their seat belts. But you are seeing really, really expensive cars by those who ask you to tighten your seat belt. Right? That is not real leadership. People don't believe it. I have never driven a brand new car in my life. Many of my employees have been given brand new car that the company paid for. Paid for. Right? They can't pay my salary until they pay everybody's salary. That's leadership. Right? We have to see from me first. I hope this makes sense at all. And it's difficult, even for me. There are a lot of times, I'll give you a practical example. One day my wife runs one of our subsidiaries in Dubai. And then we had a management meeting that particular day. Now, it was PTA. We have 3 children. One of us have to go for PTA, no be so. But it clashes with management meeting. So, my wife had to go, meaning she'll be late for the management meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, she got queried. Right? I mean, the children are our children. We are not denying that. Okay? And if I were the one that took the kids to the management, to the PTA, I would still get queried. That's what leadership really is about. You see why it's not easy, huh? It's not. Because it's easy to say, no, she's my wife. It's our children. Then others will say, but, Oga, when you come to your own wife, you bend the rule. Then for us, we must obey the rule. Okay, let's go on. Is this helpful? Okay. And I'm saying this also in the context of running business. Because if you really don't sit up as a founder of a business, it will not work. Right? You want everybody to help you grow your business, but you are not sitting up for them to see the level of sacrifice that you are bringing to the table. and not just, oh, I'm the boss. Next. Because of time, quickly, next. Okay, people follow clarity, not noise. Number 2, people what? Follow clarity and not what? And not noise. You know, again, sometimes we think that what makes us good leaders is activities, you know, and not productivity. Activity, you know, let's show up, let's do. I'm happy to meet the postmaster today. I mean, I read about appointments, long CV. But you see, when I read about the idea of turning post office to e-commerce centers, and brilliant idea. And please help me clap for her. That's an team. Good idea. Right? That is an example of clarity and not what? Just simple, nothing complicated, right? It's clear. And so a lot of times, and I say this, leadership sometimes is 80% communication. 30% communication. Those who will really execute what you need done is still the people. So if you fail at effective communication, clarity, then it's difficult to really achieve the result. So it has to be clear. The idea must be simple. Write it down, make it plain, that he may run that readeth it. Ladies and gentlemen, going back to idea number 1, I have a 50-year goal plan for my life. This is the 17th year. 50-year goal plan. This is where I want to be here. This is what I want to. Yes, you are here. Some of you are looking. It sounds shocking, Abby. Now, don't start with 50. Start with 5. Start with 5. Do your 1 year. Thank God this is December. Do 1 year. And then do what? Do 5 years. Start there. Start there. And if I did not set up a 50-year goal plan, by now I will have turned myself to one of those local champion entrepreneurs you find in Nigeria. I hope you know them. Right? Big belly. How are you? But because you are running a race of 50 years, and then you are benchmarking, as all more. Each time they play, read my profile and say he has a goal of controlling $40 billion. I'm saying, oh Lord, who sent me message? JJ, I should have had, a $50 million empire dream. Okay? So, very important that we make the dream clear. People understand it. Everybody can explain it. And this will help. Next. Now, if you really want to then go deep down into leadership, business leadership, systems build growth, not sentiment. Systems. So you are more conscious of systems, right? And not just me, because you're not building a one-man business, right? It's not about you. It's about the people. It's about how do we make sure somebody, I'm suffering from a challenge where I could close a deal better if I go directly. But because I know I'm building a system, I will send someone that may end up messing up the deal, and then, well, are we together now? Then take me another 2 years to groom the person. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, as soon as he or she knows it a bit, he said, you are not paying me well. You are not treating me well. In fact, the person not treating them well is Nigeria. And so they japa. One of our biggest crises in Nigeria is human capital. All the good hands and that's why they could afford to japa, have left. And thank God for the man that want to change things. Okay. You can ask many of his colleagues, they are out of this country. As people really get, skillful, they start leaving. And unfortunately, can I be honest with you, except you are going there to start a business, you better stay here. Right? You better stay here. right? Because everybody is tightening things too, and with AI, you better stay here, because we don't even need humans anymore, right? AI does not complain for salary increase, AI does not grumble, AI does not frown face, AI does not come late to work, no drama, no gossip. Who does not love AI? And I have a gift for all of you today. I authored 5 new books on AI this year, and I'm giving all of you for free. Okay? So, next slide. So we need to think systems. Innovate and become visible. Innovate and become visible. One of my own biggest frustration with Nigeria is some of us who really have something to say have refused to say something. So the people leading the next generation are the ones who are fighting in the airplane. And then we are now analyzing who beats who more. See our life? See our life? So now you in your mind, and that's why sometimes people like, what's wrong with Dr. Steve? Why does he get, why is he so vocal? Your children are being mentored by these people. They are role model. Continue to keep quiet. Continue to keep quiet. But what you don't understand is that they are sucking all the attention and they are winning. So innovate and be visible. Be visible. Tap somebody beside, say, be visible, be visible, be visible. So all this, I don't want to show off. I don't want, Oga, idobale shewa, right? The fact that you decide to light a candle and put it under the bushel is not a proof that you're humble. You're not humble. You're not humble. Let your light show shine. That's what? And they will do what? So, are you bringing glory to God by hiding? By keeping quiet? And then people who have nothing to say are the one literally dictating national conversation. National conversation. Sir, it's time to jump in. Right? And I started with somebody. One of my latest products is by the name Dr. Cosmos Maduka. Some of you have seen it. Right? A few years ago, I told him, I said, I want to introduce you to the next generation. He did it about 2 hours or 3 hours. He was like, this is your social media. They said we should be careful. They will. Okay? But, oh boy. In fact, he was part of our retreat in Singapore. He said, he had, I don't know if you remember who saw the money na water versus money no be water. Anybody can see your hands up? Okay? You know what he said to me that he learned from that? He said, I actually learned from Chief Priest. And what I learned is, indeed, currency. Attention is the new currency. Attention is the new currency. So his company did something for Abia State government, launched the first electric bus in Nigeria. And so he sent me the video, we uploaded it on all his platforms. And in less than 24 hours, MTN was calling, governments were calling. They said, Steve, so this thing you've been telling me. Because for the first 2 years, it was just his preaching and, speaking that he didn't even push anything about his company. Okay? But he's really shocked at how just one video showing something is doing better than all the proposals that needed to be submitted, meetings that needed to be had, and just one clip, right? They are calling your office and deals are happening. Can we be visible? I know you are not perfect, but can I shock you? What makes your story sweet is that you can check 5 years ago and even laugh at where you were then. Who knows what I'm talking about? Today I can check 10 years ago, and that's what makes my story real. Because sometimes when I tell people that I started our company with just 1,000 naira 17 years ago as a bulk SMS company, they're like, you know, we like all you teach, but you see, don't bobo us, all this aspire to acquire, you know, just, you know, it's not possible. You can't start with 1,000 and be this big. You are in 4 continents. That's not how it works. But that's how it started. And the good news in my case is that if you Google, you will see 10 years ago. You see how skinny I was. Right? And so there is consistency. Does that make sense at all? Next. Have we gotten some value today? Are there tangibles that we can execute? Beautiful. So final thought, timeless rule, modern application. Leadership and business success boils down to 4 timeless pillars. Master yourself. Master yourself. How I know me. Right? Strength, weakness, everything I know. You'll be shocked that I'm an introvert. You'll be surprised. Right? My best experience is not being with you. With all due respect, apologies. The best time is when I'm alone. But I also learned that it will not help the mission. Always being alone. Does that make sense at all? So I have to intentionally be out there. Right? Can we just leave the slide on it? So master yourself, master communication. Master communication. Really invest in being able to really communicate better. Your ideas, your vision, your dreams, what you're trying to master communicate, particularly communication that comes with clarity. Simplify it. Okay, I'll give you an example. Who do you think is, you know, for those of you who are Christians here, is the most deep pastor in Nigeria? Deep. I'm not saying deep. You can break Greek. Apostle Arome. Do you agree? Deep. I'm saying deep. I'm not saying simplicity. Deep. He can pieces all the Greek, Hebrew, you know. Example, because again, maybe some of you are new. Example of the person I'm looking for is Pastor Chris Okote. Right? So, whoever is the new version you people understand, who do you think in that line? It's Apostle Arome. Okay? Beautiful. I'm okay with that. Who is the simplest? Simplest, easy to comprehend. So, do we agree? Pastor Adeboye and Reverend Sam. Do you agree with Reverend Sam too? Come, do we agree or we don't agree? Who has more audience? Are we picking it now? Who has more audience? Papa Adeboye. Okay? If you want to hear the simplest sermon, go and listen to that. There's nothing complicated. He won't tell you Greek. He won't tell you Hebrew. Right? As simple as what? A, B, C. When you master communication, sir, whether in business, you make more money. Right? You make more impact. Right? You command more attention. So all this trying to impress us with Greek language and complicate the whole thing, it is not where the money is. Right? My time is up. Huh? Okay. I like this guy. So build with system, number what? Number 3, right? So think system. And when we're saying system, think outside of you. How will this thing last beyond me? How can this be something that can run whether I'm there or not? Innovate without what? Fear. All these, I don't want to trend. I don't want them to call my name. This year has been one of the best years for me. Because I trended, I charged $18,000 for coaching. So I run mentorship for. By the way, I'm here with Prince Bam Dele, who is a dear friend and a mentee in real estate. one of the $18,000 one of the $18,000 is in MAGA you call now, but he's been able to build a multi-billion naira corporation in a short distance because he took advantage of that mentorship. So I often say this, that are you aware that it takes being smart to be poor? Yeah. Because one of the major ingredients for poverty is analysis that leads to paralysis. And that's why sometimes when you meet some of the wealthiest people, you really get angry. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because they're not that intelligent. With all due respect, who knows what I'm talking about? Am I the only one? They're not that intelligent. Right? They're not that, I mean, at least based on how you want intelligence to be. They didn't go to Harvard, they didn't go to Yale, they didn't go to Stanford. They can't break down the numbers like my guy will do and pieces everything, but they make the money. In fact, Dr. Cosmos put it this way: you may not like my English, but you cannot quarrel with my result. My English, my grammar and tests may be fighting each other, but you can't fight with my result. I have a tangible what? Result. Ladies and gentlemen, can I conclude by saying, if we really want to turn this nation around, we need to build businesses that are like institutions. We need to have men like institutions. The government alone can't do it. If our government can't create jobs, they are just to provide the policies. It's you and I who need to rise. Arise and shine, for the light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Lastly, you were born for such a time as this. I don't care how messed up Nigeria is. And for someone who runs business in Dubai, in the UK, in the US, the money is in Nigeria. It's in Nigeria. There's still a reason why, we are still really, really strong with our business here in Nigeria. There's still a reason why. Okay? And you were born to solve this problem. Whether it's political, whether it's economical, can you look at your neighbor and say, you are born. You're born. You are the one. If I tell you no other neighbor, if that one is not, say neighbor, it is you. We have been waiting for you. And I'm not saying this to make you feel good. We have been waiting for you. If only you know what you carry, sir. If only you know what you carry. Right? I wish I had more time. This man will have shared his story with you. What has happened in the last 2 years with his business.